Welcome back to episode 3 of the Future Self podcast. This is now the first episode where I am going to have a guest on, and there is no one better to have on than Joshua Longa. I worked with Josh when I was a little bit younger. We did quite some time together. A lot of people know Josh as one of my biggest weight loss transformations, or one of the biggest journeys that I've worked with, going from 153 kilos down to 80 kilos. But I know Josh a little bit more than that. And today I want to rewrite his story a little bit. I don't want him to be known as the guy that had a big weight loss transformation, or, you know, the person who just had weight loss. I know Josh a lot better than that, and there's so much more to him. I've seen him do so much more since then. So today we're going to open up a conversation and talk a little bit more. So welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Fucking oath. Okay, let's do it. So the best way we can do this essentially is, let's take it back to the very start. I want to highlight a little bit, or allow you to speak, because today I'm here to listen more so and ask some questions, but I'm here to listen. I'm not here to talk the whole episode. So let's take it back to the start. You originally reached out to me fucking years ago. You reached out before actually starting. Then we had a pause period. And then you actually committed after that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand it over to you, and I want you to just dive a little bit in why you reached out in the first place.
Okay. Cool.
And then what the pause was, and then why you actually committed after that.
Okay. So, you know, when you go into a gym, you walk into a gym, and sometimes like PTs kind of just buzz towards you, like, and then you get this sense that like, oh, I'm just an opportunity to like make some money. Yeah. I actually met you first, and we first started talking in a different gym.
Yeah.
And when I first met you, it wasn't like, oh, do you have I don't even think you talked about like being a PT. Like, I knew you were a PT, but you didn't like talk about it. You were just how's things? Like, oh, you're doing well. And that, it was almost like you didn't care about that. So that's when we first kind of started talking. And then I think it was a while after that, you moved to a different space.
Yeah.
My life changed, and I moved to a different space. And then I remembered that. I remembered the genuineness that came across when you were talking to me. I didn't feel like an opportunity for you to like, it didn't feel like a business opportunity. I felt like, oh, you genuinely gave a fuck about my day, or like what I was doing, or like what I was working on. So, and you never tried to get me as a client.
I fuck with that.
So
yeah.
When I was ready, I was like, I came and found you, and you're in a different space. You're in a different gym.
Yeah.
So I was like, where you at? Like, let's do this.
Fuck yeah. So what actually caused you or pushed you to reach out though? So you went over the reason as to why you chose me. Why did you reach out though? Like, what was the point in your life? How'd you get there? Why were you there? And what allowed you to actually go ahead with doing coaching or making a change?
I know that when I reached out to you, I was in a point in my life where like everything was like really like falling apart, and I knew that I needed to make some changes, and I knew that I needed some guidance to make those changes that I needed to do.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit emotional, just kind of going back to that.
That's so fun.
Going back to that place.
Yeah.
Of where my mind was in that time can be kind of challenging, because it was a very dark period for me.
Yeah.
I guess I thought about today, and I thought about this conversation. I thought like how it could help someone, and I think the best way to really like explain how I got to that point is kind of like take a step back from when we first met.
Yeah.
So like when I was young, maybe year 5 or year 6, my mum got like remarried, and then she left Australia to go meet the new husband's like parents, and she told me, and me and mum were like living together, and she told me that I'm gonna go to America and I'm gonna meet his parents, and then I'll be back in a year, and while I'm gone you can stay with your dad. I was like, okay, cool, no worries. And then after a couple of months, her like this is all, I'm old, yeah. So this is like dial-up internet, like
Yeah, right.
she just disappeared, bro. Like email stopped, phone was off, and then just gone, like disappeared from my life. I was like, what the fuck? I was a little kid. I was super close with my mom, and just I think that created a lot of like trust issues
Yeah.
and attachment issues. This here has taken me a lot of money and therapy to like talk about.
Yeah, fucking oath.
So I had those issues with my mum leaving, and she like didn't come back for, I don't know, like a decade or a very long time, and I didn't know where the fuck she was, and she just disappeared. So that happened in my life, and then when I reached out to you, my fiance at the time had just left.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, that was my world. Like, I was in love with that version of that person at the time.
Yeah.
And she'd gone, and I was very overweight, and like, my whole world was like, God was just like, deal with that. And I needed some guidance to try and change how I was. And
Why guidance?
bro, my
though?
like heart is like beating so fast right now. Like
For sure. It's a vulnerable thing to talk
Yeah,
about. Like
yeah.
any conversation is vulnerable, whether it's one person, whether it's fucking 200, whether it's however many watch this episode. Like it's normal to feel a little bit uncomfortable. And fucking oath, man. I appreciate like this whole conversation. But we have similarities in things where we've had big turning points in our life where you have the decision to fuck it. I'm going to go down the dark path. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Fuck everyone. Why me? Poor me.
Oh, I went through that why me, poor me thing.
Yeah,
I went
okay.
through that stage big time.
I've been through that before, though. You can go down all of that, or you can start to turn it around and make a change. Why the fuck? Like, why did you make the change? Why did you go, okay, I'm overweight. I'm sick of this. I want to make it better. Why not just be like, oh, well, like, fuck, everything's shit. Like, what made you choose, fuck, I want to turn this around and go back in the better direction, not go further down this pathway?
I think with that event that took place, it triggered all those issues around like abandonment issues for me. And it made me feel like, I looked in the mirror and I felt like, at the time, I didn't like who I saw physically.
Yeah.
I didn't like who I was mentally. I didn't like the complacency and the laziness that I had very slowly let creep into my life, and the levels of comfort that I just became used to.
Yeah.
And with what happened, it was fucking hurtful, it was painful, and I had all these thoughts of self-doubt and fear, and I had all this like, what you get is like energy from those moments, and you can choose to like, as you said, you can choose to like let that energy destroy you, or you can choose to use it. And I used how I felt, what I was going through, what I'd gone through in the past, how I felt about myself. I used that to serve me instead of letting it destroy me, I guess. So I used that. It was like a wave coming, bro. And either I could let the wave hit me and like break me to pieces, or I could like catch it and spin it like you're doing like jiu-jitsu or judo and like turn it back on them.
Yeah.
And I felt like it's like you see those stupid memes like, oh, the forbidden pre-workout where you're like, the
Yeah.
person breaks up with you. Bruv, I got the forbidden pre-workout on crack, but I chose to make it my pre-workout. So
Yeah, man. That's
um,
that's
that's how
yeah.
that's the thought. And it wasn't like in the time I was like, oh, this is exactly what it was, but I kind of figured out that's what I was doing before I knew I was doing it. Because the only alternative was to, you know, give up. But I got three kids, bro. I can't give up. Like, like there's no choice. Like you don't get to give up when you got three people looking at you.
Yeah, man. That's
You don't
yeah.
you don't get to give up. If it was just me, fuck, maybe I would have given up.
Yeah.
But no, fuck that. Suck my
Fuck.
dick. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, legit. It's so wild that yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about with the energy, and it's the same thing that it would be just as hard to continue going down that shit pathway as it was to turn it around and make the choice to go back up the hill. But it's just having that strength to make that one fucking choice. And fuck, man, like imagine if you didn't make that one choice then. The difference of where you're at now to where you fucking would have been. It's mind blowing to think about.
It's funny you say like, oh, imagine if you didn't make that choice. I still think about that, like on a daily basis. Like, okay, every day, because you train pretty much. Train pretty much every single day.
Yeah.
How many of those days do you get up and you're like, fuck yeah, let's train? Maybe like 4 days out of
Yeah,
10. I'm
that's
like,
fair.
hell yeah. But
Yeah.
like those days where I'm just like, oh man, I'd love to just like lay in bed and just play video games all day, or just be like a bum and do nothing.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, yeah, you could do that, but that's what you used to do. Like, nah, you're not gonna go back to that. And like, I love where I'm at physically. I love where I'm at mentally. I love where my like financially where I'm at, the freedom that I have, the relationships that I've built, the people that I've met, the people that I have around me, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. But I think that is kind of reaping what I've sown, I guess. Like I've
Yeah.
put in the work to get there. You know, I've fucking, bro, I literally have do the work tattooed on my body. Like
Yeah.
you don't, if you want something, you can get it. You just gotta work. I'm not the fastest guy, I'm not the strongest guy, but man, I will work and work and work and work and work at something if I want it, if I truly want it, bro. Like, yeah, I think that's the quality that I learned throughout this whole process is you don't have to be the smartest. You can find someone who's smarter than you who knows what the fuck they're doing. Like if I'm moving into a space, like with my business, I went and found people who have done what I want to do, and I'm like, okay, cool. How can I learn from you? Like I know I'm not the smartest person. I'm articulate. I'm intelligent. I've got a degree, but find people who have done what you want to do and learn from them. Be humble. Give them your time if they'll give you your like.
Yeah.
Learn from them. I guess is
That's it. Eh? It's the typical saying: if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room. Because if you're there to flex being so smart or so rich or doing so well, that gets you nowhere. It gives you a little bit of a boost to your ego. But being the least intelligent in the room, or the least experienced, or the least financially successful, it's the biggest fucking superpower. And that's what I learned myself. Even like I surrounded myself with like really driven people, really driven friends, really successful business owners, really knowledgeable individuals. And had I not have done that, I know I wouldn't fucking be where I am now if I had to just hung out with people to show how much better I am than them. So yeah, fucking oath. You saying that's a big thing. Now, linking back around to you starting out, what was the thought process of you starting out? Did you think it was like, fuck yeah, we'll just, do a few weights and I'll be shredding the kilos? Did you think it would be as hard as it was? Did you think it would take as much work as it did?
I think in the very, very, like that start of that moment, it's like you're pulling at a string in the dark, but you don't know what that string's connected to, and you're like your eyes are closed and you can feel that string, and then the more you pull, you slowly start to realize how big it really is, or how much more strings that are attached to that string. So it slowly and unveils itself, which I think for me in the state I was is a good thing, because if I could see the entire gamut of what it would take to get where I wanted to be, I think in that moment I didn't have the self-confidence to be like, hell yeah, I could do that. But I think there's like beauty in that struggle of discovering and growing, because it's sometimes people go, oh, I want to do this, and they see they need A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and they go, oh, whoa. And I would have been like, oh, whoa, like there's all these things I've got to do, but I didn't. I just kind of focused on, like, you remember, I would focus on little things every day. Like I would focus on my steps. I would literally, like, every single day. How many times did I just post a picture of my steps?
Yeah.
Or like just a walk, and like some people be like, oh, you just went for a walk, big deal. Hell no. Going for a walk for some people is massive. When I first started with you, I would walk from North Beach to Lavendi's or South Beach for people that don't know how far that is, like 500 meters, give or take.
Yeah.
And my feet would ache. I would have to stop, and I'd get heart palpitations, and like I would try and hide the fact that I'm like hard to breathe. But that little walk for me meant so much. I can run that now, man. I run that now, bro.
So stoked.
I jog that now, dude.
I'm so stoked you said that.
Like, it's crazy.
Because
and it makes me feel good. I run past that little like seat, and I look at it and I smile. I'm like, yeah, I won that. Like, I don't know. It makes me feel good, and if it makes me feel good, I don't care what anyone thinks.
fucking oath. It's that rewriting that story. Hey, it's the where you used to struggle, you go there and you rewrite the story. Where you used to, I fucking remember the photos, man. You'd send me at 11 p.m. at night. You'd send a photo through. It was raining. It was fucking dark. It was cold. And you're like, getting my steps, bro. And now from you putting in all that work of all those grindy fucking choices and decisions, you're in the sun, running past it, feeling fucking good, you know, doing it with so much more ease, or facing a tougher challenge whilst you're there. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good, but at the same time, like, I think it's super important to sit there and for me and how I operate.
Yeah.
I've taken a lot of time to reflect on what works for me. And yes, I like to enjoy that moment, be like, yes, I did a good job. But I am scared of complacency and being comfortable. So I sit there, I enjoy that moment, and I'm like, cool, what's next? Because the old me, the 153 kilo size 7'6" XL shirt, the second he got a chance to be like, oh man, this is comfy, this is relaxing.
Yeah.
He would relax, bro. So I have this like kind of, yes, enjoy that moment, celebrate that, because that's super important, because we all work for things, but then what's the next thing we can do? Because then that way you're always like, because I see people who've like, they've like done a 12-week challenge, and I've done those before, man.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you get sick results, but then I see them like maybe like 3 or 4 months later, and they might have put on all that weight plus a little bit more, and it's like, that to me, like, man, I'm like, oh, you had it, bro. You had it. And then you enjoyed it, but you enjoyed it too much. You should have been like, cool, enjoy it, celebrate it, fuck yeah. But what's next? There has to be that what's next. Because if you ever stop too much, I find that if I ever stop too much, that lazy guy comes back.
It's a really interesting dynamic, you saying that, because being a coach, working with people, I experienced that dynamic with so many people. And what I'm talking about is real change doesn't come unless there's real fucking change. Like it's hard, but it's not that hard for a few weeks to train your sessions, do your steps, hit your macros and lose those kgs. But that's why there's so much.
It's all hard, bro. It's
Yeah.
just, it's like what you say. It's all hard. Tracking your steps, macros, food, training, it's hard. Okay. But what's the flip side to that hard? Not being able to go shopping and buy clothes you like, being overweight, having heart disease, not being able to spend time with your kids,
Yeah.
being self-conscious. That's hard.
Yeah.
And that second group that I just spoke about, that for me is a hard that don't really want.
Yeah.
I would rather the hardness of tracking my steps.
Yeah.
What, there's the bright side of that. I get to go in the sun. I get to feel good about myself. I train and I walk into the gym and I'm wearing a hoodie and then I train and I feel, all of a sudden I feel good. Like if I don't train now or if I don't get some movement in, I feel more lethargic. I feel, you just pick your battles. It's going to be hard either way. Like life is balanced, bro. The whole universe is like super balanced. Yeah, you get to chill now, but at some point you got to pay back that debt. And you're just picking where it comes from, man.
Yeah. I love that. And I don't even like have a whole lot to add on to that because the way you said it, it's literally the difference of hard now, easy later, or easy now, hard later. Like that's it. But linking back to the real change needs real change. It's not, like you said, it's not too hard to do it for a few weeks, but until you actually acknowledge within yourself, what the fuck is it in me that's causing me to get to where I am? Or what the fuck is allowing me to be where I am? Until you change that, like you said, with the abandonment factor of that being the root cause of where you're at or where you got to, sorry, until you started to acknowledge that a little more head on or consciously understand that changing will create more change than anything, shit doesn't change long term.
No, it doesn't. I think with the abandonment issues that were really brought to the surface at the start of the journey, I was trying to change myself to try and be a different person, I guess, like physically. But how I viewed myself at that point in time really changed. It became less of a external factor and became more of a mindset change, I guess. Like how I view myself now compared to then is when I first started, there was a lot of fear, self-loathing, negative emotions, and I use those negative emotions to serve me. But the way that I view myself is like I got down to 80 kilos, but the 80 kilo version of me compared to, like, I'm at about 88, 87, I'm so much more happy and so much more comfortable in my own skin now. Yeah, I might have looked leaner, but bro, we're going to go have feed after this. Like, I'll go out to dinner and I enjoy food, and that relationship that I have with life is like, there has to be that balance. Like, there's that balance again. Like, okay, there was all those constrictive things that I did and negative emotions I have, they kind of balance themselves out in the end. And my relationship with myself and how I viewed myself has evolved and changed so much compared to the start, to the middle, to the man you see now. And in 5 years' time, I'm going to be different. And how I view things in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time is going to be different from previous. And I think that's how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to think you know everything right now.
Yeah.
And in 5 years' time, you look back and you think you're a dummy.
Yeah. But I think that's a really special dynamic though. Like, if you can't look back into the past and look at that version of you and have a sense of not relating to that person anymore, or looking in a way of like, fuck, I don't know why I was doing that or how I was doing that. I don't think you're as progressive as you could be. Like, you don't need to look at the past you from 6 months ago and go, fuck, like, who's that person? But if you can directly relate to that person still, something needs to change, because there's still a level of progression you're not tapping into or you're not accessing.
I could see what I was in that time, and still now, I was very hungry for like information, and I read a lot of books, and I spoke to you heaps. And I think one thing that I really picked up, I'm not sure if it was like James Clear, Atomic Habits, or
Yeah,
Clear.
fucking oath, yeah.
I'm not too sure if it was that, or there was a book by Jocko Willink. It's called Extreme Ownership. Fantastic books. But they talked about seeing the person that you wanted to be in your head and asking yourself what they would do. And okay, I was a 153 kilo dude, but in my head, the dude that I saw was like C-bomb, or like some jacked, like bodybuilder guy. And I was like, okay, what would he do? Would he like go to sleep right now? Or would he get up and he go do his steps? And I'd ask myself that question. What would that person do? Like, what would that version of me in that moment, if I want to be him, if that's who I'm gonna be, what does he need to do? And it was like this dichotomy in my mind, this black and white. It was like this, like, you got like a devil and an angel. It was like the lazy guy on my shoulder, or the who I want to be guy on my shoulder. And I would listen to both of them. Bro, sometimes that lazy guy would win. Sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not about, okay, he wins sometimes. That's life. But if you can, if over a long period of time, you let that guy you let that version of who I see myself as in the future, let him dictate my actions, then slowly it changed me. Like, does that make sense?
Bro,
Like,
you
I feel
never.
like I'm not articulating
No,
this
that
very
was it.
well.
I'm not laughing
Like,
at it not being articulated, but I'm laughing because you never fail to fucking amaze me. Like, listening to that is so fucking sick. That is literally
thanks, man.
your version of future you living. That's doing it for the
Yeah,
future you. The difference between the person on your left shoulder and your right shoulder. The right shoulder's the easy now. Like, fuck, I don't want to go for those steps, man. But the future you, with his fingers crossed, going, fuck, I hope he goes for steps. You listen to him, you go
yeah,
for those steps, because like you said, you're thinking in that version of a person of who you want to be,
yeah,
which is essentially just your future self. What would he do? Fuck, I don't want to do the shit now, but I don't want to have to do it later. So I'm going to look after him and do it for him
yeah.
now.
Like, I don't know. Like, one thing I was hoping that people would hear this and like be able to relate to it. Like, in my mind, my version of that was like, Kai Green.
Yeah.
I know he's like super huge, but in my mind, I was like, "Oh, Kai Green, dude."
Yeah.
Yeah, but for you, it might be some other person, or
Yeah.
it might be for some girl, it might be like, some fitness model, or someone who's a rugby player. It's just a different version. But for me, in that moment, I was like, "What Kai Green do?" So I was like, "Oh, he'd go do his steps, he'd go eat his food." It's like, well, I guess I got to do that then.
Yeah, which is ultimately
It's hard.
you
It's
just
not easy, but
it's like you just admiring traits that he has that you don't, that you want. So yeah, it seems as like, what would Kai Green do, but it's what would the future Josh do, because I want to be similar to him or have
yeah,
traits like what he does. Fucking, it's so sick. It's so sick to
thanks,
hear you,
man.
yeah, have that level of understanding, because a lot of people do those things without being conscious of it. And when you're conscious of it, you can access it a little bit more. And when you have awareness around it, you can, yeah, push it a little bit more directly. Now, one thing I want to chat about that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is we did like intense tracking. We were on spreadsheets. You
Yeah.
did macros. We did
That's
steps
what I needed, bro.
at the
That's
time.
what, that's bro. Like, me, like like we talk about heaps of stuff. Like, I'm kind of nerdy. Like, people might look at me and not know that, but like I'm pretty nerdy. Like, I like numbers and tracking stuff.
Yeah, fucking hell.
To me, I enjoy like
Yeah.
making sure I hit the numbers, and I was very almost demanding to you at sometimes. Be like, I need you to I need this from you, and I remember saying to you, like, there's going to be points where I'm going to be like whining and like, because I knew myself, like, I need you to be like harder to me in those moments, because I'm very self-reflective and I'm aware of my weaknesses and I'm aware of my strengths, and I know that there's going to be moments where I'm going to be like down and going to like want to give up.
Yeah.
So I told you, like, I'm going to need this. I need you to be hard on
Yeah.
me sometimes, because I'm going to want to listen to that lazy guy.
Yeah.
So I asked for like, and I loved it. I thrived on it. I thrived on the numbers. Like,
Yeah.
that's just me. I'm like nerdy.
The most, the most beautiful part about being hard on you in your journey was it was nothing harder than just the straight fact. It wasn't you're being fucking lazy. It was hey, this was your target. You didn't hit it.
Yeah.
And some people don't thrive in that feedback. It's like, oh, well, I didn't hit it because this, and I couldn't do it because of this. And, you know, like they want that kind of, oh, hey, like it's okay all the time. Sometimes it's needed to be that, but it was just a straight fact with you. And the fact that you thrive off that is literally, I would say, the reason of where you are now, because you would take criticism, you didn't make excuse, or when you made excuse, you were able to have ownership that it was an excuse. It wasn't a true believing of no, like I wasn't actually able to do it. It was, yeah, fuck, I wasn't able to do it, but you know, I was able to do it.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, that dynamic is what I see in a lot of successful people, being able to take the criticism, but also just being able to take the fact, not always adding emotion into it. Like if I had said, fuck, you didn't hit your steps, it wasn't guy's like picking on me or he's not supporting me. It was yeah, fuck, I didn't, and I need to do better and actually hit it. And the fact, yeah, that you had the ability to tap into taking criticism like that is fucking, it was really good.
You weren't telling me anything I didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I knew I didn't hit my steps. And sometimes, like, we all know, like, people got, you work in the industry, people come up to you and go, or people come up to me like, what's the secret? Like, there's no big secret, just calorie deficit, move more, eat less if you want to lose weight, move more, eat less, train hard, you know, and just keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Just don't stop doing it.
Yeah.
I guess, so what I'm trying to say is I knew I had the numbers at the start of the week. I knew what needed to be done. And if I didn't do that, it's like that little voice is like, you didn't, like my little voice in my head in a monologue, like you didn't do that. But sometimes, even though I knew I didn't do it, I guess this is a reflection of me and my personal experience, but I needed you to be like, Josh, you didn't do that. And I'd be like, yeah. And for some reason, when you were like, Josh, you didn't do that, it wasn't I didn't feel like criticized. I feel like weird sense of relief. Like, yes, I didn't do that. Accept that, learn from that, move on, and do it. Like next time, just do the work, I guess.
Why didn't you bullshit it though? Like, we weren't in a face-to-face setting, or we'd see each other in the gym because we did online coaching.
Yeah.
And I'd see you, and like real close back then. Like we would train together and we'd do those things. But why didn't you bullshit it? Like, why stick to it? It'd be so easy for me to give you your numbers, for you to say you did it and get the fuck yeah, dude, you're killing it, and you feel good. But like, why not bullshit it? Why'd you actually end up doing it over the week?
I guess because if I was, but who would bullshit it to me?
Why didn't you bullshit it to me? You could have written on the sheet that...
Well, you'd know. The numbers wouldn't change. My weight wouldn't reflect the work I didn't do. Like, and like, it's not really bullshitting you. Like, at the end of the day, that's like, it's like, so it's bullshitting myself. And one thing that has really grown in me, and what I didn't have at the very, very start when I was really, really big, was my relationship to myself. So like, you hear all the time, oh, I'm going to start that diet I would tell myself, I'm going to start that diet on Monday, but it's Sunday night, so I'm going to eat that whole chicken palmy, I'm going to smash it. Yeah. But then on Monday, I'm going to do it. And I would tell myself that for fucking years, bro. But I tell you the truth, when I'm eating that palmy and I told myself in my head, I'm going to start on Monday, I knew I was lying to myself. Yeah. So I wasn't even I didn't even respect myself enough to keep my own promises to myself, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty shit, but like I didn't keep promises to myself, bro. Like,
yeah.
so it's like, why bullshit you? Like, I'm really just bullshitting myself.
Yeah, I wish the camera was closer. And
I don't, bro.
no, I'm saying I wish it was closer because probably every fucking 3 minutes you say something, it's giving me like full goosebumps. It's just,
It gives me goosebumps going back to that time too, because it was like a very formative time for me. And sometimes people come up to you and have a quick conversation, and it's like, you just asked how long is a piece of string, bro. Like, oh, how'd you do it? It's like, oh, I can give you a little 2-minute version, but that's not the truth of it, man.
Yeah.
The truth of it is like real deep.
yeah. And that's, yeah, linking back around, like the truth of it's real deep. And it's the fact that real change needs real change. Like you need, like the biggest change you had was calling yourself out, developing that self-trust, sticking to the promises that you made yourself.
Feels so good to like, I'm gonna do this many steps this week, and it's fucking hard, and like, when you do them, it's weird. It's like there's no like, hurrah, sparkles in the air, but inside I'm like, fuck yeah, I feel good that I kept a promise to myself, that I respect myself enough to do it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, because just, I'm sure you have those fucking, you know, sparkles and whatnot now.
Oh,
Like,
the sparkles got too intense. Like,
yeah,
my ego started at like self-doubt and like hate, and I think with the change in the journey, my ego went maybe too far, and then like I've been doing therapy for like since we started, like, and that's the one thing I can recommend to anyone: go and get a psychologist.
yeah,
Unpack these things.
Yeah.
Reflect on yourself. Learn about yourself and grow, because it's money well spent. So as I was saying, like my ego went from like hating myself, self-doubt, to like being a fat guy all the time. But all of a sudden, holy shit, I feel like I look okay. Like I feel self-confident, and it went too far. And then pulling it back in the last like year or two, and like really kind of being centered and not needing external validation, or like try, or at least I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. I think. Yeah.
bro. I swear, you're one of the fucking coolest, kindest, most
Bro,
driven
what are you talking
fuckers I
about?
know.
What are you talking about? You're like,
No, for real. Like,
I wish people saw like those like 11 o'clock at night in the rain, like talks that we had, bro. Like you helped me out heaps, man. Like, yeah. That's why when anyone ever asks me like those questions, it's just be like, just go and see a guy. Like just talk to him, bro.
fuck. Just a really good job done together.
100%.
But I love that you brought up what you brought up just before, because I remember we did your full journey, and you, like you said, it tipped over to the other side a little bit, and it went into the ego side a little bit,
Yeah.
which is so fucking interesting, because something that you wished for so long, a good body you thought would change all your problems,
Oh,
but it
doesn't.
didn't.
It brings new problems.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
And it brings problems that you don't think, you
Yeah.
never thought about that.
Yeah, which links back to a changed life is a changed mind, not a changed body. A changed body is definitely a vessel for a life that can change. But getting shredded or getting a six pack doesn't change your life necessarily if you don't allow your mind to change with it.
I think honestly, like the exterior is only a reflection of the interior. So like when I was big, I didn't respect myself, didn't keep promises to myself. And I think the intangible thing that is hard to convey to people is the changes in my relationship with myself. The byproduct is what is like the
Yeah.
change. Like I wish you could see a photo of Fat Josh, because you don't get to have those physical changes without the mental changes. The physical changes are just a byproduct. Like if you change how your mindset and how you view life and how you engage with people, you're gonna it's just going to happen. Like you can't help but improve other areas of your life, whether that be like your physical body, your relationships with people, your business. It's just going to happen. Like you can't change your mindset positively without other areas of your life changing as well. It's going to happen. Like you can't turn from a square to a circle without the other things changing. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
just poorly articulating
Nah,
that,
yeah,
but
that's it. It doesn't matter, man. It's a truthful expression. Doesn't need to be fucking said textbook perfectly. A question I'd have is if you could chat to the Josh, the 153 kilo Josh, and just say a few things to him, not to put you on the spot, but what would you say to him now, knowing like who you are now, what you've done? Let's say he looked in the mirror a week in and was like, fuck this, I'm not doing this, I'm sick of this shit, it's too hard. What would you say to him now?
I guess it'll be worth it, bro. Just don't give up, bro.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, like it's worth it. Don't give up. When it sucks, it's meant to suck.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like there's like beauty in the struggle. That like things don't get to come to fruition without the hard times. You need struggle, you need grind, it's gotta suck.
yeah,
That's how I put it. But it's gotta be challenging because real change doesn't happen unless there is a little bit of pain or a little bit of angst or a little bit of grind or you need that. Embrace it. Yeah, embrace it. And you're not alone, if you talk to people, people will be there for you. Because I kind of like sheltered myself off a lot. I think that's one thing that if I could take a step back and do differently, I wouldn't be so insular. Because I really just, bro, I spent the whole year in a hoodie.
I remember.
Do you remember my hoodie era?
Yeah.
Like I spent the whole year in a hoodie. I remember like sending you like a video or something the first time I went from hoodie to like baggy shirt, and then going from like the shirt to the singlet was such a big deal for me, bro. Like,
But yo, that's not even just, that's a big deal for so many people. Like I train so many girls that shirt to crop is massive or leggings to shorts.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like I train so many boys too. And I was one of them myself. Shirt to singlet is massive, but then it's just as big singlet back to shirt. Because the singlet where everyone's looking at me like, fuck yeah, I'm looking so good.
100%.
Back into the, yo, I know I look good. I just want to wear what's comfortable and what I like.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like the next level of the journey. They're like, I don't have anything to prove to anyone here right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go baggy tee. I'm gonna wear slides and socks and a big hoodie because this feels comfy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I think at the start, that's the evolution that you don't see. That's what I didn't see. I only ever envisioned like up to the point of like shredded or this, that. That's where I envisioned, but there came a whole gamut of other things that I didn't anticipate and had to go through and experience and grow from as well.
Yeah, because potentially, like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but because you had the vision based purely only on visuals and a lacking understanding of the mindset that changes.
No, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I didn't. I can reflect on that now.
Yeah.
But if you asked Josh at the start, oh, what about your mindset? What about your mindset? What about other areas of your life? No, to me, the honest truth is, to me at that point in time, it was purely a aesthetic thing where I didn't want to be fat. I wanted to feel like women thought I was attractive.
Yeah.
I wanted to walk down the street or go and buy clothes and make sure they would fit. I didn't feel like anyone would want me
Yeah. Yeah.
as a big fat dude. I just didn't think anyone would think that's good.
Yeah. And then the body and the mind changed.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't know the mind would change.
Yeah.
I didn't sit there and be like, oh, my mind's going to change.
Yeah. It's
Nah,
yeah, actually
that
true.
surprised me. That's like a surprise thing.
Yeah.
And it's gradual. You kind of fall into it. And it's not like, oh, God, my mind's changing.
Yeah.
It's just you wake up one day and be like, oh, shit. That would have bothered me before. Like, but now I don't care. Or like, wow, that would have really like rattled my ship. It's very gradual and you don't kind of realize it's happened until I guess it's too late and your mind's already like different and how it views things.
Yeah, that's fucking stepping stones, man. Stepping stones are small but consistent and they're compounded. To talk about a mind change, you've literally gone from someone who can't trust himself, hold a promise to himself, look after himself, to now running a fucking business, empowered growth.
Let's go.
Which allows you to help people.
Yeah.
Help people
I love
build
it.
trust, build a better self relationship.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking crazy.
I think it's about seeing and understanding your own value and what you can bring to the table and not being scared and just going for it. Because I was scared but I'm good at what I do. I'm good at building relationships. I'm good at helping people who have experienced trauma, who are experiencing challenges, who see a different version of themselves, people with disability, people who need mentoring, specifically like young men.
Yeah.
I love it because I see a part of me in them as a big guy, as a child, and why not do what I love and get paid for it?
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like work to me.
Yeah.
Like I thrive off that.
That's relator fucking ability. Like that, I feel like people who have the most success in business that work with people have a connection with the people they work with through genuine relatability, but they also thrive because it's not forced or faked. It's genuinely who they are. So I feel like your business thrives not because of how smart you can manage someone or because of how well you've learnt to do this. It's because it's who you fucking are. You're a caring, you're a smart, you're a relatable, you're a good person. And that's why there's so much success in that for you now.
Yeah, I think that's why people who I support like to work with me, because it's like, you're leaving the house for the first time in like in 3 weeks, bro. That's sick.
Yeah.
Like that's so good.
Yeah.
What's that? You haven't gone shopping in fucking 6 months. I love that. Like, and I love that I get to walk by your side and experience that journey too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the gym with one client and he's like, never touched the bench. And then like, this guy's like plus 12 kilos. He's like first time he bench presses like a plate each side, like 60 kilos.
Yeah.
Bro, I swear to God, he nearly cried. He's like shaking. And this person has experienced anxiety, couldn't even be in public setting. And now he's like lifting weights. And it's like, I love it. It makes me feel so happy for him. Like it gives me like, it's almost like unfair. It's like I'm getting energy off you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you're filling my cup right now, but why not do that as a job? Like,
Man,
I love that, bro.
That's alignment.
It's fun.
That's because you've been there though. That's like me working with you. I felt the same rewards and the same energy because I'd been in those, I've achieved those goals. I've been in those dark places and I knew what it had felt like having been there, just in different experiences.
Yeah, but you can relate because it's like, it's the same but different. It's just, that's just your story.
Yeah.
But I hear parts of your journey, Josh.
Yeah.
That's why you're good at what you do.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get
100%.
it.
And that's what I'm hoping people will hear this and like, it might be a little bit different, but they'll be like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Josh has been through what I'm going through. Like, I'm not alone. Like, if this guy can do it, fuck, I can fucking do it. If guys experience that and he can help people, he's been through it, why can't I do that too? So I'm hoping that someone will like, I don't know, be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Like, fuck yeah, like, let's do this.
yeah, I agree that if you can do it, anyone could do it.
100%.
Not because what you did was easy. So that I don't say that with the thing of fuck, man. If you did it, anyone can. But because I knew that version of you, and if that fucking man can do what he did to allow you to be where you're at now, anyone who's listening to this can dead ass fucking achieve what they want to achieve. Like there was so much, fuck no, I'm not doing it. It's hard. All of this shit. Like it was so certain on wanting it, but not wanting it at the same time at the start. And fucking now look at you.
Yeah, it needs to be hard, but it's like I said, it needs to be hard.
Yeah.
It's like, why does everyone think six pack? Like, why does everyone like value good physique? Because you can't just go and buy a good physique. You've got to earn it. And there's no way around it. You've got to go and do the work to get it. So anyone can do it with the right support, with the right approach to it. And I think my biggest thing would be like, just try and find a way that suits what works for you. So like, I love bodybuilding. Like I love that style of training. Some people might hate that. Some people might be like, I love like playing tennis. I don't love it, but like someone might love playing tennis. Bro, if tennis gets you moving, move. Like I like enjoy running. I enjoy like running and jogging. Some people hate that, think it's stupid, or like I did boxing for a while because I enjoyed it. Just find what works for you and use that to your advantage. Yeah.
So there's no set way of doing it.
No, it's different for everyone. It's just my journey.
Yeah, the best way to do it is the way that works for you.
100%. Like, and if you can enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it, like that just makes it easier.
So to give you one last question then.
Yeah.
If the Josh in 6 months' time could look at what you're currently doing for him now, what do you think he'd say?
I guess if I was the Josh in 6 months' time.
So if the future version of you could watch what you're doing for him now, would he be proud? Would he be rooting for you? Would he tell you to stop being fucking selfish? Would he be secure knowing you're going to work and bust your ass for him?
Yeah, I think he would tell... I think I would tell myself to enjoy the moment a bit more.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've been always, as I said, like one thing is like always trying to onto the constant next thing to try and keep going, but like enjoy that moment. Enjoy, like, be a little bit more present. Be like, I'm sitting around with like big square things and microphones, bro. Like, this is pretty cool.
It is fucking sick.
It's pretty cool. So yeah, be more present and enjoy that moment. Because I don't feel like I need to change anything. I know that in 6 months' time, I'm still going to be fucking training. I'm still going to be like working my ass off towards the goals that I want. I don't think I know that's never going to change, because I'm never going to let myself slide back into that space, because I deserve more than what I gave myself previously.
So that 6 months' time, Josh is fucking secure. He's living like a king from what you're doing now.
I feel pretty secure right now. I feel like I'm living like a king right now.
That's fucking, fuck yeah.
Let's just step it up a level.
Fuck
yeah.
I rate that. Fuck yeah. All right, well, that's episode 3, the first guest. No one better than fucking Josh. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much. If you're tuning in on the visuals on YouTube, thank you so much too. I've become one of those people now that if you like it, subscribe. If you like the video, throw a like for us. I never thought, like I said last time, I'd be that person, but yeah, I appreciate you listening. Now, Josh's socials will be down in the description. So, fucking flood his DMs, shoot him a message. tell him anything you related to or that he inspired you, anything like that. I'll throw my socials down in the bios too. But yeah, thank you for listening to Future Self episode 3. Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Fuck yeah.
That was crazy.